Hello friends, namaste. So let's talk about Ketu in the all the 12th house. We'll be talking about what exactly the Ketu is in the all the 12th house. So before that, we'll be starting what exactly the Ketu is. So Ketu is basically spirituality. Wherever the Ketu sits, right, it divides, right? It divides and it makes cuts. It isolates, right? And also Ketu gives a kind of struggle. So always Ketu wants to isolate, detach from the worldly thing, right? Ketu is also spirituality, right? So Ketu is also the flag, right? Ketu is also the victory. Ketu is also considered as the past house, life houses, right? So this thing can be Ketu can be represented. Ketu is represented by a dog as well, right? So Ketu is basically detachment, separation. So if you know the story of Rahu and Ketu, Rahu is the upper part, the head part, and all the lower, like from this head, is the Ketu, right? So Ketu doesn't have head. That's why Ketu is a headless thing, right? So we'll be digging deeper into what exactly will be the result if Ketu is in the all 12th houses. Okay, so please make sure to have subscribe and then follow to our channel as well, and then you can see what exactly the Ketu in the all house represent, right? Okay, let's talk about Ketu in the first house. So Ketu in the first house, you are a headless first thing. It means you always like don't think logically. Most of the time you just have your intuition, you believe in your intuition. That gives you like deeply spiritual, introspective and detached personality, right? This individual often feel different from others and may struggle with identity or self expression during early life, right? They are naturally intuitive, philosophical, and less interested in worldly recognition compared to Rahu, right? So Ketu people always don't want to be seen; they want to be hidden. Ketu here can create wisdom, psychic sensitivity, and strong spiritual inclination, right? However, it may also bring self-doubt, emotional distance, or feeling of isolation. If it is well placed, right, Ketu grants profound inner growth, spiritual understanding. The lesson is to balance detachment with healthy self confidence. Always remember, Ketu in the first house makes you headless. And sometimes, if it is not aspected by a good planet, you will behave like a psycho, right? People can't understand you. You want to detach from the world, and that's why it is challenging position, but it can give you like a lot of wealth. You can accumulate a lot of wealth, you can have a great spiritual growth, kundalini awakening can be happen. So this thing can be seen. So always lesson is to balance detachment with healthy self-confidence. Self-confidence is most important thing, right? So whenever the Ketu is in the first house, all right, let's talk about Ketu in the second house. What exactly the second house is? So second house is your house of speech, family, resources, right? And it is a house of gain. So wherever the Ketu sits in second house, they can create for like detachment from material possession, right? Or family expectation that can make you detach from family expectation. The native may experience unusual financial pattern, periods of abundance followed by detachment. You will have a lot of money, but after a few days, a month, or year, you will feel very much detached, or a lack of interest in wealth despite having ability to earn. You will have ability to earn, still you will be detached, and you won't have any interest in earning, right? So speech can be very direct, and that can sometimes people may assume you as a rude person, right? You can be a philosophical or mysterious personality can be seen in your speech. Family relationship may involve karmic lesson or emotional like distance can happen. If spiritually inclined like placement can produce a wise speaker. You can be a wise speaker, teacher, and learning to balance material security with the spiritual value can be become essential. So whenever the Ketu is in the second house, material security with spiritual value becomes very essential. Make sure to incorporate spiritual value as well as material security is also very much important. Always like don't speak any kind of rude words. Don't be pretty direct. Sometimes you have to like navigate with diplomatic thing. Either you don't know stuff, you can just sort of yourself, because Ketu in the second house, you feel like I'm speaking truth. I doesn't matter like whether it sounds well or not. So please don't be that, because sometimes it is better to not say some truth to save the relationship, right? You don't have to be truthful around everywhere, right? So here in the second house in the Ketu can be detached from your family as well, but it can give you immense wealth, right? So but still you will be detached from the wealth after the time goes and everything, like time and year grows, so you will see the detachment, right? Okay, let's talk about Ketu in the third house. What exactly the third house is? So third house is your house of sibling. Third house is your house of communication, social media, right? It is house of courage, initiation. So whenever Ketu sits in third house, you sometimes you might hesitate to take initiation. You will have you will either have extreme courage or you don't want to show your courage. Also, in practically you can see Ketu in third house, you might have three siblings, right? You might have three siblings, or at least you might have two siblings. Like you will have of course three siblings. There is certain thing that you might have three siblings and three bank account as well. And you can see maybe you can have three social media account, different pages or something like that. So three will be very prominent number, right? Whenever the Ketu goes in the third house, right? So Ketu gives you courage, independence, and ability to work without seeking recognition in the third house. This individual is a highly self-reliant, right? Often possesses hidden talents in writing, right? Hidden talent in writing, communication, research, spiritual practice can be seen. They may have unusual relationship with siblings and maintain emotional distance from them. So yes, also you can be emotionally distant with your sibling because of maybe a conflict or something like that, or maybe any kind of value doesn't match from yours. So there can be detachment from the siblings. Ketu Ketu reduce fear and create a remarkable intuition and strategic thinking. Right, whenever the Ketu is in third house, remarkable intuition and strategic thinking can be seen. If it is afflicted, however, it may cause communication difficulties, social withdrawal, or lack of motivation to do work. Right, spiritual discipline can help unlock this placement hidden strength. So if you are spiritually awakened, if you do meditation, if you do any kind of spiritual sadhana, mantra chanting or anything, then this Ketu in the third house can be very fruitful, and that can re-emerge your hidden talent from the past life of the third house, like significance, right? So you can see this thing whenever the Ketu is in the third house. Okay, so let's talk about Ketu is in the fourth house. Whenever the Ketu is in the fourth house, what exactly the fourth house is? Fourth house is your house of emotional satisfaction, home, peace, right? Family materials and comfort, mother, right? So the person may feel external comfort, do not bring lasting happiness, right? So may search for inner peace instead, right? You will be always try to find inner peace, because you won't find any long lasting happiness, right? That's why. A relationship with mother can involve very karmic lesson, or emotional distance can be seen. Frequent relocation can be seen of your home, or feeling of not truly belonging anywhere is very possible thing. I mean, you will feel like I don't belong from here. You will always be try to detach yourself from your home materialistic thing as well. So Ketu here can bring you this thing. So this placement encourages you to spiritually growth through emotional maturity and self discovery, right? True happiness always come from inner contentment rather than external achievement. Always remember, my dear friends, those who have Ketu in the fourth house, inner contentment always comes from the inner happiness, right? Contentment always comes from the happiness you have within. External validation achievement can't buy any internal happiness, right? Inner happiness, contentment, satisfaction, peace cannot be bought from external validated things or achievement, right? So always make sure that whenever the Ketu is in the fourth house, always try to go within, try to do a spiritual sadhana, meditation, or something like that, so that that could make you a good person and you satisfy from very inner thing. Okay, let's talk about Ketu in the fifth house. What exactly the fifth house is? Fifth house is your house of creativity, love, romance, right? Ketu in the fifth house, you can be highly intuitive, highly intuitive. You can sense the thing before things gonna happen. Intellectually, you will be very good, right? Intellectually, you will be so much good, right? and you will have so sharp mind. The native may have a strong interest in spirituality, astrology, occult science, philosophy, or meditation. Creative talent often emerges naturally, but there may be less desire for fame or recognition. You will have less desire for the fame or recognition because Ketu is in the fifth house, but you will have very creative mind. You can solve the problem naturally. I mean, very nice mind. I mean, you can see romantic relationship can feel very confusing, detached, and there may be a karmic lesson involving in the children. And also in the love relationship, you can see that long-term love material can be turned into breakups, right? And that will be so much karmic, and to move on from that breakup, you will have very hard time. So Ketu in the fifth house. Always, if you are loving someone, it is a karmic thing. First thing you have to know. So you want to fix the relationship, you want to always go back to the relationship, but my dear friends, it's not worth it. If things has not working, it's not working, then you have to move on, right? So whenever the Ketu is in the fifth house, you can see this. So this placement favors a deep wisdom, a spiritual intelligence, overly worldly achievement. Learning to balance emotion and with detachment is very much important. So in the Ketu in the fifth house, emotional balance and detachment is very much important. So always remember this thing, right? Whenever the Ketu is in the fifth house, it's a good placement, but it is bad placement for living significance. For instance, your love, children, it can make you detached from the children as well. All right. So we'll see Ketu in the sixth house. Okay, what exactly the sixth house is? Sixth house is your house of disease, debt, enemies, right? Your daily work, right? Lawsuits, your competition. So Ketu performs relatively well in the sixth house, giving the ability to overcome the enemies, right? Depths, obstacles through persistent intuition, right? The native often excel in the healing profession, right? Research, and also you can see whenever the Ketu is in sixth house, always make sure that you don't have to fight with the enemy. If you leave the enemy, then the divine God will help you, and he will give the karma. So whenever Ketu is in the sixth house, always make sure to don't try to take revenge, any kind of revenge, of whether someone has done bad to you or not. But always try to leave that karma so that universe will be punishing that. Okay. So whenever this placement is there, it is better to feed animals, right? Animals, and have a good relationship with animals. You can feed them, so they possess a strong and analytical abilities, right? They may be naturally skilled at problem solving very complex problem. However, Ketu can sometimes create unexplained health issues or difficulty identifying the roots or cause of the problem, because that confuses you whenever it is in the sixth house, and due to that you might have several health issues. So spiritual practice and discipline routine helps to maintain the balance of the Ketu. So always remember, whenever the Ketu is in sixth house, right? So you don't have to just take the revenge. Universe will take the revenge from your enemies, and of course you will have a strong ability to overcome the enemy's depths obstacle through the persistence intuitions, right? So Ketu in the sixth house can give you this, right? Okay, let's talk about Ketu in the seventh house. What exactly the seventh house is? Seventh house is your house of marriage, right? Marriage, your spouse, your partner, your public dealings, your public relationship, right? And it is also house of business, right? Since it is opposite from your Lagna, so this thing can be seen. This is the significance of Ketu in the seventh house. So let's talk about whenever it is been said that Ketu in the seventh house can detach from your spouse, right? It can create dissatisfaction in relationship because the soul seek deeper meaning beyond any worldly companion. Ketu in seventh house can feel like a very karmic relationship, right? And you might emotionally be detached from your wife, right? And then so the person may attract very unusual person. So if your spouse, let's say for the boy, you will attract the women whom your relatives or your family member, they will say, no, this is not this lady. But everyone say, how can you get involved with this lady? But you only cannot. So expectation may be very unrealistic from your partner, and due to this, you will face very instability in your relationship. Business partnership also can experience instability because of course they have a realistic expectation from them. You will try to like feel like how he or she is not understanding my feelings. He or she has to understand without saying the word, but that's not how it works, right? So whenever the Ketu is in the seventh house, you can see these challenges, right? So always Ketu teaches the importance of unconditional love, understanding, and emotional maturity. Whenever you have emotional maturity, Ketu in the second house, seventh house can make you good and spiritually awakened, right? So since it is looking to aspecting to Lagna as well, that's the thing can be seen whenever the Ketu is in the seventh house. Okay, let's talk about whenever the Ketu is in the eighth house. What exactly the eighth house is? Eighth house is a house of mystic, right? Psychology, science, right? Occult science, exactly. Tantra, mantra, astrology, right? Tarot card. So whenever the eighth house Ketu is placed, it is a strong placement, right? So the individual often like undergoes powerful transformation throughout the life, develop deep spiritual wisdom through the adversity, right? Intuition is exceptionally strong, right? There may be natural psychic abilities. You can understand the thing before it happens. You can get the like ideas. You can speculate about the things what about to come up. Okay, so whenever the Ketu is in the eighth house, you can see you will have several accident. So you will have several accident, but you may get sick, but you will have several like accident and breakage of your bone or something like that. So you can see more often, at least 3 times in life you can be possible. So this placement ultimately pushes the soul towards profound transformation and enlightenment, right? So whenever the Ketu is in the eighth house, you can see the transformation. Your life, you will have very prominent transformation. Every time you will see the transformation is something which you will have in your life, right? So Ketu in the eighth house is a good for your astrological journey and any supernatural science, psychology, astrology, healing science. If you want to learn, that is good for you. But having said that, you have to be very cautious about the things, right? If it is afflicted, it can give you mental trauma or something like that. You can become psycho, right? So you have to always be alert about these things, right? So Ketu in the ninth house. What exactly the ninth house is? Ketu in the ninth house can give you spiritually growth, right? You'll be philosophical. You'll be philosophical and spiritual oriented nature can be seen. The native questions the traditional belief and seeks the direct spiritual experience rather than blindly flowing to like established system, right? You don't want to follow any Baba or any Guru or anyone blindly. You will always be rational. You always question the things. So they may feel very detached from the organized religion while maintaining deep faith in higher truths, right? You want to explore the higher truths. So relationship with your teacher, mentor, or father figure may involve very karmic lesson, and foreign travel and spiritual pilgrims often like play a significant role in your personal growth. So always whenever you have Ketu in the ninth house, always try to visit some spiritual pilgrimage because to catch the energy, right? If you travel in the foreign land and spiritual places, you will have personal growth as well. So Ketu in the ninth house is a good placement, right? So until and unless you are not being rigid about any philosophy or a tradition, it is very good like placement. Always make sure that Ketu in the ninth house, sometimes you may like don't get detached from your father as well, or guru or mentor or your boss. So always make sure to have a cordial relationship with them as well, because everything you know doesn't mean to you have to show, right? So that can like make a very conflicting relationship with them. And with the father gurus and boss, it is not good to fight with them, right? If you know, you know, you don't have to like be rude to them, you know, just keep it to yourself. All right. Ketu in the 10th house. So, Ketu in the 10th house brings detachment from status, authority, public recognition, right? The people may achieve professional success but still feel unfulfilled by the worldly desires, accomplishment, right? Career path can be unconventional, involves frequent change as in individuals research, like search for meaning for of life. So it has been seen that whenever you have Ketu in the 10th house, probably you might be some kind of spiritual teacher, guru, pandit, astrologer, right? So this placement is favorable for the spiritual teacher, healer, researcher, counselor, professor involving service. The lesson is to perform one's duty without excessive attachment to the result. You don't have to be attached towards result, whatever exactly the result is going to happen, right? So it makes you detach from your karma. Either you will do something so bigger and very delicate that only you can do the things. So you can be very good, but you can't do a daily work, right? To do daily work, you are not made for to do the daily work or 9 to 5 job or corporate job exactly. You can be a CEO, but you will work only 2 or 3 days, but you will work 2 or 3 days, and that can be make significant like work. So you can't work exactly every day, but a Ketu here in 10th house can make you very creative at your work, right? And you can do the work very in like intuitive manner. So you can solve the very complex problem because you have good intuition, right? Okay, let's talk about Ketu in the 11th house. It is a prominent position. Ketu in 11th house creates detachment from social circles, gains material ambition, right? The native may be a fewer but more meaningful friendship can be seen, right? Often feels disconnected from superficial social interaction, like whenever you go in the conference or somewhere, you will see people will faking about themselves, faking about the superficial relationship, like hey, hello, what's that, how are you, what are you doing, and you know that's nothing like meaningful. You will try to detach from them and you will be very dissatisfied. So Ketu in the 11th house, I have my Ketu in 11th house. And I have seen that in Washington DC, I was in the room of full of the people. I still remember. But I couldn't connect with anyone. That day I was so much disconnected. I feel like, oh my God, what's happening with me? So I always believe in having meaningful connection. So Ketu in the 11th house can give you a massive income, right? Massive income. At least 3 source of income can be seen. Multiple source of income can be seen. And Ketu in the 11th house can make you be billionaire or millionaire. So I mean you can get really good wealth, but you will get only then when you don't expect about the wealth and materialistic thing. Financial gain may seems very unexpectedly scenes, right? The material success alone rarely brings the satisfaction to Ketu in the 11th house. This individual seeks the higher purpose, right? Fulfillment beyond the wealth and social recognition can be seen, right? Spiritual community and humanitarian causes often becomes more important later in the life. Also, I have seen like Ketu in 11th house. Only friends who is very spiritual, who is very understanding, who is in the occult, right? And spiritual way pathway, yoga, So they only can be a friend with you in a long term and in the meaningful way. Everyone else can just be a friend just for the being a sake of friendship, but the deep connection only will be with the spiritual people, with the this astrology mystical science, those who have basically the pure heart, right? So this thing can be seen whenever the Ketu is in 11th house. Now the final placement is Ketu in the 12th house. So Ketu in the 12th house performs really well because it is a Moksha Trikon, right? Ketu in the 12th house is considered as the very deeply spiritual placement. It is often associated with the moksha and liberation, right? It increases the intuition, meditation, spiritual awareness, and inner interest in mystical practice. The native may enjoy solitude, retreats, foreign travel, or charitable activities. Dream can be vivid, right? Dream can be vivid. You will have several dreams and that can portray something in your real life. There may be a strong psychic sensitivity, you can see, because 12th house is a house of super conscious mind as well. This placement favors spiritual growth, right? Compassion, detachment, or difficulty functioning in materialistic life can be also seen, right? You will be detached from worldly attachment. If it is afflicted, it may bring the isolation, right? Escapism, sleep disturbance, or difficulty functioning in the material life. Learning to balance spirituality with the practical responsibility is the key lesson you can learn. Always try to balance the spirituality, also be practical about your responsibility, what you holds, because whenever Ketu sits in 12th house, you try to avoid and skip the things. No, make sure if you have Ketu in the 12th house, you have to balance. Spirituality is good thing, liberty is good thing, liberation is good thing, but why you are here in this world, you have to always make sure that you have to pay your karma back. So that will be only happen when you involve in the balance the Maya as well. So always make sure to balance this practical responsibility, and spiritual balance is a key to happiness and success. So these were general prediction about Ketu in all the 12 houses. If you haven't seen the Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, right, Jupiter, Saturn, and Rahu in all the houses, please follow and subscribe to Astro Impact channel, and you can find my video on all the planets, right? If you want to chant any mantra also, you can see all the mantra recited in my channel as well. You can listen to that, you can chant the mantra by your own. So these things can be seen. So you can please follow my channel, and then also comment about where your Ketu placement is, and also how do you feel about my explanation. Do you feel nice, or do you think anything is to be improved? I would love to hear from you guys, right? Till then, bye bye. We will definitely come with another video with the conjunction of different planets, right? So with this, thank you so much for watching. Take care. Good wishes. Namah Parvati Pate Har Har Mahadev. Thank you so much. Please subscribe to our channel. Thank you.